Hey everyone, it's Joker here, and welcome back to another video. I'm honestly surprised I was able to get 2 major videos done in such a short amount of time, but most of the time with my YouTube content I have to play catch up, because for some reason I just don't record when I mean to sometimes, but whatever. Anyway, today we're doing another fight profile, which considering the last one wasn't super long ago, it feels kind of weird because I've kind of just been ignoring content profiles, but even though it has nothing to do with the main topic of this video, I like to apologize for lack of content profiles, because I was like, I got a new series, it's gonna be pretty consistent, guys. Consistent content for you, but then one, content profiles, I just like to get this that way, I apologize if you just came here to see me talk about the fight that is in the title. It takes a lot more research than you think, because I have to binge hours upon hours of content that some creators have been doing for years and years and years. I watch pretty much every series at least every major series, that content creator does. I go through all their playlists, watch everything that has remote interest to me, which a lot of cases what the YouTubers I think to cover is practically all their content. I go through hours and hours, then I have to do extra research. See, okay, who do they associate with? Even though most of the time, or like YouTubers that have some nostalgic value to me, I can just go, oh yeah, they play games with these guys or collab with these guys, but it's a lot of work. So even though it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a big series that's pretty consistent on the channel, I don't think I physically can make consistent content profiles without wearing myself out. And the other profile series I'm doing, fight profiles, is a lot easier to do, because I guess have to watch a couple episodes of an anime, or just look over at a boss fight in a video game, and bam, I just have to finalize my thoughts. It's pretty easy to make. Probably the easiest content that I make outside of Let's Plays. But anyway, on to the topic at hand. So far in this series, I've talked about modern shonen, because even though it doesn't feel like a very typical shonen, JoJo is a shonen. And today I'm going to spice it up by talking about another modern shonen. I know, the greatest variety on the planet. Alright, joking aside, I love My Hero. It's easily, especially after I rewatched it this year, easily in my top 5 favorite anime of all time. So I wanted to talk about it since, well, guys haven't gotten it, even though I was like, oh yeah, fight profiles, I can talk about boss fights from video games too, so don't worry. This series is mostly to talk about anime fights, so I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna try and sugarcoat it, because, well, it's kind of what I invented the series for, even if I did give the illusion that I tried to be more fair with covering a decent amount of video game boss fights, but whatever. On to today's specific topic. Just like how, well, actually Joseph versus Santana is pretty early in JoJo. It's still kind of a late fight in terms of just episode numbers. Today we're doing Izuku Midoriya and Ochaco Uraraka versus Katski Bakugo and Tenya Iida. Or simply put, if you don't want to run out of air, breathe, the combat training fight that were actually shown in its entirety. The only one that was shown in its entirety is the one with Shoto, and he literally just one shots everyone. That's not today's topic. Today we're talking about this fight. So, just like the last episode of the series, we're gonna start. Well, it's gonna be the one I'm gonna talk about first out of every episode in the series. But on to what I was saying. The set for the fight. This is pretty much the most important starting point because, like, fight can be cool. It can have cool animation, cool stakes, but we don't know why people are fighting. That it's just gonna be like, okay. We don't know why people are gonna be fighting. That it's just like, oh, okay. That's cool, I guess, but there's literally no substance here. So let's start from the beginning. Starting off, well, what am I trying to say? So, well, before we get to the set, I should probably say that this video and the fight in general is from My Hero Academia episodes 6 and 7. Meaning if you've not watched My Hero Academia 6 and 7, there are spoilers for My Hero Academia episodes 6 and 7. So go watch those episodes if you haven't already, or if you have already and need a recap, or if you just don't care, continue watching the video. Because I used to be like that, and it was really stupid. I don't care about spoilers, man. Nowadays, if you touch me with spoilers, I will slap you. Character development, but let's get to the meat of the video. Finally, it's almost been 10 minutes, and now I can finally start talking about the fucking fight. So we pick off near the end of the provisional, not provisional license exam. Oh my god, how do I mess up that bad? We start at the end of the quirk apprehension test arc. Where Zawa is just testing everyone's quirk, just seeing how strong they are and stuff. Threatens to expel whoever gets last place in the class. Izuku is able to just use one... No. Yes, it's one for... I always get all for one and one for all confused because they're literally the same, but you just change up the wording slightly. It throws me off. Anyway, to gets his finger and is able to throw the softball. This pisses off Bakugo because up until now, Bakugo just thought he was a quirkless loser and everyone else is impressed because, you know, they're not shitty people. And the rest of the quirk apprehension goes on when after Eraserhead just go, hey Bakugo, stop that, okay, thank you. And then they get their results. Izuku's in last place, but because Aizawa saw some level of potential in Midoriya, he doesn't expel him. There we go. And then the day ends, and we see one of my favorite parts about the set for the fight. We actually see, even though Midoriya is starting at the bottom, because he's interacting with Iida and Uraraka, it's a good set for a fight because they're all involved. And it's just nice to see this trio interact because they're like inseparable in terms of interactions in early My Hero, and at least anime-wise, I really don't feel they get to interact all that much nowadays. Not nowadays, but in like season 5, and 4, they just don't interact as a trio all that much. It's just, it pains me because they're a really good trio. Well, that's a topic for another day that I will likely not make a video about because well, like, this is like my one series where I talk about anime. Otherwise, I pretty much just talk about video games. But whatever. I'm getting off topic. Anyway, it's next day. Izuku's kind of explaining, oh yeah, here's how the day goes. And then it's time for hero training. And All Might's their teacher. It's freaking awesome because he's All Might. He's literally the physical human form of awesomeness. And pretty much, it's like, oh yeah, combat training. Everyone gets their super cool hero costumes. Everyone looks so cool except Izuku, of course. His first costume's lame as hell. But anyway, basically, here's how the training goes. They draw lots, and based on that, their teams. And one team of 2 people is a villain team, and the other 2 are heroes. Villains have to protect a fake nuclear weapon within a 15-minute time limit, and the heroes have to stop them. They also have an earpiece so they can communicate with their team when they're far away in the building, and tape they can use to try and capture the villains. Anyway, now that's set up, can properly get into the fight. Iida and Bakugo have a bit of dialogue about trying to make some semblance of a strategy, but like Bakugo's just like, nah, I'm just gonna fight Deku, bro. And then once again, the fight properly begins. So let's run things down. It's just Midoriya and Uraraka making their way through the building at first. And then suddenly, Bakugo tries and attacks Mr. Deku. I don't know why I'm like making this whole joke. Like, that was early in the morning and all, but like, goddamn, can I take something at least remotely seriously? Anyway, starts off with Bakugo just trying to explode Deku's face. However, he only gets his mask. And here's where the fight is properly beginning, as Izuku makes a proper stand against his bully. And we go into the next episode, where, once again, the actual meat of the fight takes place. For the most part, episode 6 is just setting up this fight. But anyway, Bakugo starts with a right hook, which, because Izuku took notes on practically every hero and pretty much person with a cool quirk that I looked up to, which is the category Bakugo would fit in, was able to counter and is able to hold his own against Bakugo. This gives Uraraka a chance to run off and try and confront Iida at the weapon. Anyway, back to Bakugo and Deku's conflict. After Bakugo learns that Midoriya has been essentially just learning his moves, switches it up. He goes for a kick, and he's just not doing his normal, I guess would be if he was a fighting game character, be like, what's the best I can think of? So what's the best like comparison I have? Alright, I try to think of a comparison between a fighting game character and their essentials. He'd be like if Mario didn't use that like tilt move. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's left and right tilt where like does the downward punch. It'd be like that. He doesn't do that. I'm already being incoherent as hell. Oh my god. Anyway, back to the fight. I could be getting my sequencing wrong a little bit because, once again, because I don't make a script for these videos, simply because I don't have the materials to do it at the current moment. I can't just write down what exactly happened, so I kind of have to rely on my memory here. I think Midoriya takes this chance to run away and tries catching up with Uraraka. And when she does, she sees Iida. Iida's having a bit of a monologue to himself and becomes a complete ham. Video is titled Izuku Midoriya and Ochaco Uraraka versus Katski, Bakugo, and Tenya Iida, but for the most part, Iida and Uraraka are here for comedic value, and the actual fight is just Izuku Midoriya and Katski Bakugo. As he's just being a ham, he took away everything Ochaco could touch, not making it so can't use her quirk, and well, they're kind of standstill. So now Bakugo is chasing down Izuku because he wants to fight him and prove how much better he is than Midoriya. Also, I apologize if I keep switching from calling him Izuku, Midoriya, and Deku. Because I'm not using a script, whatever name just comes to mind for the character first is what I'm gonna say. So if I had the script, I'd probably just stick to one for each character, but here's the thing with My Hero, since it's very Japanese and people calling people by their last names, I try to keep that whenever I talk about the series. Go, oh, Midoriya, oh, Iida, oh, Tokoyami, so on and so forth. But sometimes when they're English name, well, not English name, first names are easy to say, like Shoto, or just easy to say, or short. Shoto, Momo, Izuku, Mirio, so on and so forth. The H just slips out. But anyway, I shouldn't be justifying myself. I should be going on more about the fight. Anyway, continuing the fight, eventually Midoriya and Bakugo with each other again. And here's the thing. Bakugo definitely changes up his strategy at this point because he does stuff like shoot an explosion at Midoriya's face to create a smokescreen and propelling himself to attack Midoriya in the back. Going Midoriya over his shoulder and explaining how his quirk works. Even though Izuku already knows. It's more so for the audience. And they show that Bakugo's not a complete idiot because, once again, using the smokescreen, propelling himself, and going for a backwards attack, it does take some semblance of strategy. Even if the strategy isn't super complex as exploiting your opponent's weaknesses, a strategy is a strategy. But anyway, continuing, Bakugo explains how his quirk exactly works. He's able to secrete, I could be getting this term wrong, nitroglycerin sweat, I think that's how it works, and is able to store it up in his gauntlets. They aren't for show, as he can loud a huge blast and makes a huge hole in the building. It seriously hurts Izuku. And All Might has to give commentary like, stop this, and gotta love Bakugo's logic here. He'll be fine as long as he dodges it. You know, I shoot this man I'll try and shoot this man through the heart, but as long as he's faster than a bullet, it's A-okay. Anyway, back to the fight. It really gets to, here's like the climax of the fight, because like things are getting serious as Midoriya realizes he can't win against Bakugo without using his quirk. He did try and capture Bakugo with the tape, but it ultimately failed. I'm pretty sure it would have been destroyed in one of the explosions, so even though that's more so theorizing since it's never brought to attention. Anyway, they run at each other. Izuku is using One for All in his arm, and Bakugo is about to blast him. But the last second, Midoriya aims it upwards so Uraraka can hold onto a pillar and launch projectiles at Iida so that he can essentially be distracted / knockback so she can make herself float and grab the weapon, winning it, getting the win for them. Izuku gets blasted in the process, but a win's a win. Team A wins, and Bakugo and Iida lose. It's pretty simple. Another reason I forgot, another point that I like about this fight that I forgot to bring up during the actual commentary before I got to the conclusion of the fight is we get to see a little bit into Bakugo's psyche. As he thinks Midoriya was hiding this great power all this time when it pisses him off because when that scene where Bakugo fell into the river or just puddle of water, whatever it was, body of water he fell into. He was fine, but Izuku wanted to make sure he was fine. It's just like, oh, are you okay? This pissed off Bakugo because he's very prideful. And he thought that Izuku was just hiding power. And Izuku obviously calls him an idiot because, like, literally why? And he shows that he can't really control his power yet. His body can't handle the toll that is all for one. There we go. I'm not saying, oh, this makes Bakugo a great character. It's just interesting how we get to see a little bit, just a glance into his thought process. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my analysis of this fight. Or just general talk about what it is, what I like about it. I had to score it since, once again, these videos are more so describing the fight and then just giving opinions afterwards. I don't feel I went into my opinions all that deep with Joseph versus Santana since it was a pretty basic fight, but considering this is My Hero's first semi-big fight, I feel like there's a lot more to add. I really feel like it could have just been one-on-one pairs, and not much would have been lost, because Uraraka and Iida outside the end really don't add anything to this fight. One point I don't really like about it, and while Midoriya running and trying to use more so of his brain than actually just punching Bakugo in the face, this might just be the fact that I've been watching a lot of One Piece recently where Luffy's strategy 99.9% of the time is punch man in the face. Even if that man can just turn into sand, punch him. Even though it's interesting, it doesn't make it a super most entertaining fight, but Parts that I love. Even though Iida and Uraraka don't add too much to the fight, they do add a bit of comedic value, which is fun because, one, it's an otherwise serious fight, it gets kind of them occasionally. It adds to some, especially with how hammy Iida's being. You get to see Izuku stand up to Bakugo, which is a really good moment for him. And once again, we get to see a bit into how Bakugo thinks and his overall psyche. So, there are one or two nitpicks I have with the fight, but otherwise, I think it's pretty good. If I was actually giving scorings for fights in this series, I have to say it's pretty good. 8 out of 10. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like the videos if you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. This has been Shadow Joker. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.